Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you did not know, my name is Robin, and today we are going to be doing a review of Julia Armfield's new book, Private Rites. If you've not seen my channel before, you'll know that Julia Armfield is one of my favourite authors of all time. I read All Wives to the Sea a couple of years ago, or whenever it first came out, and that sort of inspired me to read a lot more than I currently was. It has a place just in my heart that I will have for the rest of my life. It is genuinely such an incredible book, and it is one of my favourite books of all time. And a lot of people who have read Julia Armfield or have read Our Wives Under the Sea will tell you the exact same thoughts that I had with it. It's a book that is haunting but stays with you forever. And as someone who is super excited about Julia Armfield's work and has been, this has been on my radar for a while, ever since it was announced, I was super excited along with a lot of other people in the book community. And before I go into what I feel about this book, I will give you the basic plot if you haven't heard or haven't read this book. This book is set during an apocalypse, but this apocalypse is very, very slow. It's basically, it hasn't stopped raining in years and years and years. And now everything is drowning and everything is coming to an end. But alongside this, people still have to go to work. Capitalism is still in full swing and it is horrifically depressing. And this is just the set of the book. And we follow three characters, Irene, Isla and Agnes, all three sisters, and they have not spoken to each other in a long time. And they are not particularly fond of each other, but when their dad dies, they have to get in contact with one another and sort of work out their feelings and work out how, getting rid of all, the funeral and stuff like that, and that means getting into contact and talking to each other again. And we get to see their different perspectives and their inner thoughts and their communication with each other and how there's been a breakdown through their childhood and how childhood trauma and memories have basically gotten to the place that they are today regards to the relationships with each other. We find out that their dad is actually a famous architect who built houses specifically for this sort of end days era. He built houses that were on stilts, so every time the water level rises, the houses rise too. These houses are for the uber wealthy. Most other people have to survive in this world of just hoping that you were living in a big city and living in high-rise apartments or places that were really well made away from the seashore before everything started kicking off. I would like to say that this book is very bold with itself. I think the setting not being the main focus of the plot, the main focus is three sisters trying to work themselves out, trying to work out the relationship, trying to work out what happened to them as children, how that has affected them later on in life, and their relationships to one another. I think it's really bold. I think it's really incredible. The conversations that they have, the thoughts that they have, and with just this drastic background as well, because I think it really shows off the mundane life that is still pretty much going on, as you would expect people to be panicking about the end of the world, but because the end is slowly coming, and of course people are still working and still having to deal with the everyday stress of living and rising bills and costs and capitalism while the end of the world is happening. I think that these almost mundane, I want to say, conversations between these three sisters and their relationship, it really adds another layer to how slow and how depressing this whole world ending situation is. And the thing I loved most about this book is the world building. The world that this is set in is, again, it's so dark, and I think it's something that will truly stay with me. I think Julia Armfield's writing for Our Wives almost feels like it's improved tenfold in just the world building alone. Because, I was reading this and it was raining outside and I was terrified. I was terrified of the rain. I felt eerie, and there were certain situations in this book which felt eerie, which felt truly Julia Armfield-esque. There are certain moments that genuinely creep me out. But I do also have a downside to this book, so I will reveal, and controversially I think, because I know a lot of people absolutely adored this book, I gave this book 3 stars. So why I gave this book 3 stars is the ending of this book really didn't land with me. The world building, just everything about the situation that the characters was in was creepy enough for me and I think there is a moment at the end that for me feels rushed, and I don't feel like it's well earned, as in there's like very few hints to what is going to happen later on in the book, and when it got to the end it just felt like it was out of nowhere. So I do have to sort of like mark it down because I did feel very underwhelmed with the ending of this book, which was a disappointment. I also, one of the characters, we have 4 different POVs throughout this book. We have all 3 sisters, then we have the city's point of view, and even though we have 3 point of views to go through, we don't really get a lot from Irene. In fact, Irene is sort of like a question mark with how she's feeling, how she's like, how her brain works in regards to the situation. Like, we really don't get a lot of Irene's reactions to everything going on. I don't know if that was like done intentionally. When it comes to Eileen and Agnes, they are 2 very strong characters. So it does feel like a little bit of a decision to have Irene as someone maybe a little bit withdrawn. But even when we go to her point of view, we really don't get a lot for Irene. I wanted to know a lot more about who Irene was because we do get a lot of who the other 2 sisters are. And so I would have really loved to know a lot more of Irene because she seemed like a very interesting character. And even though we spend quite a lot of time with her, we didn't get the payoff. And like I said, the ending just really, I kind of left it on a sour note for me because reading up to probably 50 pages towards the end, was thinking that this might be my book of the year. Like, I thought that like everything about it was so fantastic. Just every element of it seemed right, and I've never read a book where I have like reading it, it just felt like I could see the world around me, which sounds so stupid, but like this comes back to the world building. Like, the world building of this book is so fantastic that when I was reading it, I could imagine every piece of it. There's so much about this that just rang so real to me, and just the last couple of pages when the twist comes in, I guess, I didn't really give anything about it. I just didn't really care because I think the book was fantastic and standalone without this weird end bit. But I also know that a lot of people seem to enjoy the ending, so don't let me put you off. Just my personal opinion, I just really didn't think it was necessary because I already felt weird and creepy throughout the book. Like, I don't know if it just for me felt rushed, or it just felt like another element of like, oh, I can be creepy again element, and it was just like, for me it just didn't work. It just didn't work, and but that's just me. Again, I'm just like, I know a lot of people absolutely adored this book, but I guess because of my excitement for it and because I love Our Wives so much, that this was always going to have like a high benchmark to sort of surpass. It fell short for me in a couple of places, which is why unfortunately I don't think I could give it any more than a 3, just because, yeah, I just had a couple of problems, but like these problems were something that like did sour the reading experience for me. I would absolutely suggest this book if you have been excited for Julia Armfield stuff, because like I said, I feel like I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this book from other people, but it's just my experience, and I still think you should absolutely read this for the world building alone, because when I say it's beyond incredible, it genuinely is beyond incredible. Definitely go and read it, form your own opinion about it, and let me know in the comments what you thought if you have read it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and I shall see you next time. Bye!